I'm Eric Westrich, and you're watching Startup Show San Diego, a startup TV show about startup companies.
Yep.
And we're here at San Diego Startup Week, which is a big story. And Video Central for us is at Startup Central, which is Wework Cowork. And we're talking about Startup Week and hardware. A lot of times we talk about software, but we're talking about hardware. What happens when you have to make something? We're here with Dan Hendricks of the Open Source Maker Labs. Welcome.
Eric, good to see you again.
So, why did you decide to make stuff? Why aren't you a banker?
Well, I had a long history in engineering, and when I retired from the Navy, I knew that there are a lot of interesting things out there that people could make. I was starting to see it in the maker movement, and also working with a lot of students that were trying to find a path to go forward and weren't finding the right niche. I discovered that there are a lot of mentors out there that are willing to help students, and we came up with a way to put it all together in one place.
So why not just go to the Y, or why not to the hardware, or on base at the hobby shop?
Yeah.
Why do you need to build a Maker Labs?
Because you need one place where you have it all together. So we do electronics, welding, metalwork, software, and coding. All these things come together for product development.
Okay, so if I'm a product person, I'm a software person mostly, but I have done hardware systems too in my early days. So if I'm going to do that, do I need to have a PhD in engineering to go to one of these places?
No, definitely not. That's the big point of it. The technology is coming out and making much more capability accessible to everyone. You don't have to have an advanced degree to do this. It's not rocket science, although we have built rockets in our space. Anyone can learn how to do this. So things like 3D printing, laser cutting, computer-aided design, it's accessible for a lot more people now, and open source software really helps that.
So, but why you? Why you start one of these things?
Well, I've got a lot of experience and I want to pass it on. I met a lot of students that were struggling to find a path, find a direction, and I also talked with a lot of people that I knew in business that were struggling to hire people. They couldn't find enough people with skills that could go to work immediately. I saw this gap and said, I can do something to close it, at least in my area.
People who need jobs and jobs who need skills.
Exactly.
And did that take off right away? What was your biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge was actually finding a location and fitting into the right zoning area, which we are fine where we are right now. We're in the Vista Business Park, which is zoned for industrial R&D, which is a perfect fit for us.
Okay, and so you got started, you got the zoning, you went through that, you got students, they started building that, you hooked up with mentors. What makes you think that you're on the right track? Take me back to a conversation you've had with one of your students recently that said, I'm proud of what we do and I know it's right.
The best group we've had is a group at UCSD, the Students for Exploration and Development of Space. It's a student organization, it's not part of any curricula, but it's a group of students that are very dedicated, very motivated. They want to get the good jobs. They want to get signed on with SpaceX, with Space Micro, NASA JPL, but they're caught in a bind. They don't have any experience. They'll graduate with a great degree, but they have no experience. They're not competitive. You can't break into these fields unless you have the experience. So their solution was to create their own. They started their own projects, got sponsoring and funding by NASA. And their first project was to build a 3D printed rocket engine that had a very novel design. It's more efficient and more economical to print rather than to manufacture. NASA said, good idea, go try it. So their first challenge was to go fly the engine. So they approached me with, hey, we want to build a 20-foot liquid fuel rocket. They won't let us do it on campus. Can we do it in your space? I said, sure, we can do that. And we did. Took it up in the Mojave Desert last year, flew it, and it worked.
So if I have a hardware idea, I can do it. If I am a software person and need a hardware founder, is that a place for me to find a partner?
Absolutely, absolutely. We're seeing a great convergence, especially in the Internet of Things and industrial Internet of Things, which is a confluence of hardware and software.
So it's a place for knowledge, it's a place to find partners.
Yes.
Mentors and partners, great. Biggest question, if they want to find more about the Open Source Maker Lab, where do they find more about you and your lab?
Go to our website, www.opensourcemakerlabs.com, or come in and see us. You can come in for a tour, be glad to show you the facility, show everyone around, and introduce you to the other members and other activities that are going on.
So definitely hardware is part of San Diego Startup Week. Dan, thank you.
Eric, thank you.
And thank you for watching.
Okay.